This is a story of brutal murder, a toxic relationship, and a trial that captured the attention of millions. It's a case of love turned deadly, filled with lies, manipulation, and obsession. This is the story of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander. Jodi Ann Arias was born on July 9th, 1980, in Salinas, California. She was the daughter of Bill and Sandy Arias. By most accounts, Jodi had a pretty normal childhood. She was artistic, loved photography, and had dreams of making it big. But those who knew her say that even from a young age, she was intense. When she loved something or someone, she loved hard, sometimes too hard. Her parents later say that during her teenage years, Jodi became rebellious. There were fights at home, problems at school, and by the time she was 17, she had moved out on her own. Jodi bounced around between jobs, waitress, photographer, bartender, and by her mid-20s, she was still searching for something or someone to fill a void inside her. Travis Victor Alexander had a very different beginning. Born July 28th, 1977, in Riverside, California, Travis had a rough childhood. Both of his parents struggled with drug addiction. For most of his early life, Travis lived in poverty and instability. Eventually, his grandparents took him and his siblings in, raising them with structure and faith. Travis embraced the teachings of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. Religion became a cornerstone of his life. By the time he was in his 20s, Travis had turned his life around. He worked as a motivational speaker and salesman for prepaid legal services, and he had dreams of becoming rich and successful. More than that, he dreamed of settling down, marrying a nice Mormon girl, and having a big family. Friends described Travis as charismatic, funny, and deeply ambitious. But underneath it all, he was still a little boy who had survived a rough start in life. He craved stability and love. In September 2006, Jodi and Travis crossed paths for the first time. They met at a prepaid legal service conference in Las Vegas. Both were there for business, but sparks flew almost immediately. Jodi was beautiful, flirtatious, and eager to make an impression. Travis was charming, confident, and drawn to her attention. They hit it off fast. Over the next few months, they talked constantly through phone calls, emails, and texts. Even though they lived in different states, Travis in Arizona, Jodi in California, they managed to see each other frequently. But there was a problem. Travis was a devout Mormon, and Jodi was not. In the Mormon faith, dating, especially marriage to someone outside of the church, is frowned upon. If their relationship was going to be serious, Jodi needed to convert. And she did. In November 2006, just 2 months after meeting Travis, Jodi was baptized into the Mormon church, with Travis there watching. But religion wasn't the only thing happening between them. Behind the scenes, their relationship was complicated and increasingly physical. According to the teachings of Mormonism, couples are expected to stay celibate until marriage. But Jodi and Travis crossed many of those boundaries early on, leading to guilt, shame, and even more tension. By early 2007, cracks were already starting to show. Travis cared for Jodi, but he also had serious doubts. He wanted a pure, faithful Mormon wife, someone he could bring home to his future kids, and in his heart, he wasn't sure Jodi fit that mold. They fought a lot. Travis confided to his friends that Jodi was too intense, too possessive, and too jealous. He complained that she would snoop through his phone, hack into his email, and show up unexpectedly. Meanwhile, Jodi was desperate to hold on to him. When Travis tried to pull away, Jodi didn't take it lightly. She moved from California to Mesa, Arizona, just a few minutes from Travis's home. She claimed it was for work opportunities, but friends believed it was really to stay close to Travis. Even after they officially broke up in June 2007, Jodi stuck around. They kept hooking up, kept talking, and kept fighting. And behind closed doors, things were getting darker. Travis would later call Jodi the worst thing that's ever happened to him. After months of back and forth, Travis tried to move on. He started dating other women, women from his church who his friends thought were good matches. Jodi, however, couldn't let go. She would sneak into Travis's house through the doggy door. She would slash his tires. She would call his new girlfriends and harass them. Travis's friends warned him. They said Jodi was dangerous. But part of Travis still cared about her. Maybe he felt guilty. Maybe he felt trapped. Maybe it was just easier to keep the peace. Whatever the reason, they stayed in contact, and by spring 2008, Jodi had moved back to California. But she and Travis were still speaking, still fighting, still hooking up. On June 4th, 2008, everything came to a brutal end. That day, Travis was supposed to meet his friends for a trip to Cancun, Mexico, but he never showed up. For 5 days, his friends grew increasingly worried. Finally, on June 9th, they went to his house. What they found was horrific. Travis's body was in the shower, badly decomposed. He had been stabbed 27 times. His throat had been slit from ear to ear, and he had been shot in the head. It was a scene of rage and violence. Police quickly zeroed in on Jodi Arias. At first, Jodi claimed she had nothing to do with it, but evidence told a different story. A camera recovered from Travis's washing machine had photos of Travis and Jodi, taken the very day he was killed. And even more chilling, accidentally deleted photos showed images of Travis bleeding and lying on the floor as Jodi stood over him. After the discovery of Travis Alexander's body, police immediately started digging into his life, and everywhere they looked, one name kept coming up: Jodi Arias. She told the police she hadn't seen Travis for weeks. She said she was nowhere near Arizona when he died. She had been on a road trip to Utah to see another man. But there was a problem with her story. For one thing, her rental car was missing its floor mats, and there were stains that looked like they had been cleaned up. She also had cuts on her hands that she couldn't explain. And then there was the most damning piece of evidence, that camera. The camera found in Travis's washing machine had hundreds of photos. Some were romantic, showing Travis and Jodi together in bed. Others were horrific, showing Travis bleeding, collapsing, and seemingly lifeless. Timestamps on the photos placed Jodi at the scene during the murder. When confronted with the evidence, Jodi's story changed. She now said she had been there, but according to her, two masked intruders had broken in, attacked Travis, and spared her life. On July 15th, 2008, a month after the murder, Jodi was arrested in California and charged with first-degree murder. After her arrest, Jodi spent years in jail waiting for a trial. And while she waited, her story kept changing. First, she wasn't there. Then there were masked intruders. Finally, she settled on a third story: self-defense. Jodi claimed that she and Travis had gotten into a fight, that he became violent, that she had no choice but to defend herself. The prosecution, led by Juan Martinez, saw things very differently. They said Jodi was a jealous ex-girlfriend who had carefully planned Travis's murder. They pointed to the rental car, the gas cans she bought to avoid stopping for gas, and the gun stolen from her grandparents' house. 25 caliber, the same kind used to shoot Travis. They said Jodi wanted to punish Travis for rejecting her, and to make sure no other woman could have him. The stage was set for one of the most sensational trials America had ever seen. The trial of Jodi Arias began on January 2nd, 2013, in Maricopa County, Arizona, and it quickly became a media circus. Every day, people lined up around the block to get a seat in the courtroom. Cable news channels covered the trial wall to wall. Jodi, now a brunette instead of a blonde, sat at the defense table, glasses on, looking reserved and serious. The prosecution's case was brutal. They showed the jury the graphic crime scene photos. They played recorded phone calls between Jodi and Travis, some of them sexually explicit. They showed the timeline of Jodi's actions, driving over 1,000 miles, bringing gas cans to avoid detection, and deleting photos to cover her tracks. They painted a picture of a cold, premeditated murder. Meanwhile, the defense led by Kirk Narumi had a different strategy. They put Jodi on the stand for 18 days to tell her side of the story. She spoke in graphic detail about the sexual nature of their relationship. She described him as abusive, controlling, and secretive. She claimed he had a dark side, that he was a sexual deviant hiding behind a wholesome image. She said on the day of the murder, Travis became enraged and attacked her, forcing her to kill him in self-defense. But under cross-examination, prosecutor Juan Martinez tore into her story. He pointed out the lies that she had told to police. He showed the jury the text messages where Travis called her a sociopath and warned others to stay away from her. He highlighted how Jodi had covered her tracks. After 4 months of testimony and dramatic twists, the case went to the jury. They deliberated for 4 days. On May 8, 2013, they returned with a verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted. Some of Travis's family members sobbed. Others hugged each other. Outside, crowds celebrated. But the case wasn't over yet. The jury now had to decide if Jodi should get the death penalty. The sentencing phase of the trial was just as dramatic as the trial itself. Travis Alexander's siblings gave emotional victim impact statements describing the pain, the loss, and the trauma that Jodi had caused. Jodi, for her part, gave a bizarre interview from jail just minutes after being convicted, saying she preferred death to life in prison. She even held up a t-shirt that read, "Survivor," as if trying to reinvent her image. The jury couldn't agree on a sentence. They deadlocked. A second jury was later called in for a retrial of the penalty phase. But again, no unanimous decision. Because of that, under Arizona law, Jodi Arias was automatically sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. On April 13th, 2015, Jodi was officially sent to Perryville Prison in Goodyear, Arizona, where she remains to this day. The Jodi Arias case left a huge mark on American culture. It sparked countless TV specials, books, documentaries, and podcasts. Millions were fascinated by the case, not just because of the murder, but because of what it revealed about human obsession, manipulation, and deception. Jodi Arias became a symbol of something dark. The idea that someone who seemed sweet and normal on the outside could be hiding something truly dangerous underneath. Today, Jodi Arias lives in a maximum security prison. She occasionally gives interviews or tries to file lawsuits, but for the most part, she remains out of the public eye. As for Travis Alexander, he is remembered by his family and friends as a man full of potential. A man who overcame a rough start to build a promising future, one that was tragically cut short. In the end, the story of Jodi Arias is a reminder that love can turn to obsession, that obsession can turn to violence, and that even the most charming people can have a side we never truly see. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like.